paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted, bringing you some more of the great investigators around the country. Really good guest tonight, but I do have to remind you all who keep snitching me out to the producer race. I got a new t-shirt. This one's from the Sea Witch, which is a little bar down in Carolina Beach, but you can let him know I've got another one now. He thinks I've got a wardrobe that fits in a storage building or something. But my guest tonight, very intriguing people. Her name is Spectral Sisters Paranormal. They formed back in 2020. They've got 2 full-time members. Becky is an empath, clairvoyant, divination, and spirit communication. And of course, Tianna is also into spirit communication and a healer, which is very interesting. What I like about these guys, no frills, their words, no heavy editing of evidence. And you guys know when I did this, I might make the voice louder on an EVP or draw a circle around what I suspect to be something. Other than that, I don't do any editing. Even in the books, even on the covers of the books, no editing. Because once you start down that path, people will doubt you. And I really dig what they're doing with this. So let's bring them up and talk to Becky and Tianna.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
Now, where are you all out of? I know you told me about it, but I don't recall off the top of my head.
We're in Northwest Ohio, the southern part of Northwest Ohio, Logan County.
All right, Northwest Ohio. So where are you butting up next to?
Indian Lake.
Okay. So I guess you all have done a lot of stuff down in that area.
Oh, yeah.
And West Virginia?
We haven't made it quite that far yet.
Yeah, we haven't get across state lines yet.
Well, I've been to West Virginia several times now. I'm actually from Missouri, living in North Carolina, but West Virginia ghost people just adopted me. I've been doing a lot with them now. So hopefully y'all can get down there to the Blennerhassett, to that fairgrounds. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a couple of World War II hospital boats that's there in West Virginia. Yeah. Plus, one of them, it was originally a dredger that dredged the river.
Ooh.
And accidentally dredged up an Indian burial ground. There's all kinds of spirits on those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send me an email, remind me, and I will get you the links to where
the location. Nice.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
But let's talk about you all, because I know you've both had some experiences that started you on this path, right?
Yeah.
Very much so.
Go ahead.
Yeah. From an early age, her and I both have had experiences, sometimes in the same houses. We've actually, she is my niece, and we have lived under the same roof growing up a few times, whether it be at the same time or not.
Right.
We were the same house. Both of us had numerous things happen to us, seeing things, hearing things. And like Hannah was talking about, that we just always seem to feel it. It's always been around. Sometimes it gets a little spooky.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, we're pretty comfortable.
And how we were able to navigate it and handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Now, was you seeing these things as children?
So I grew up in Clark County, Ohio, down around Springfield and the Dayton area.
Okay.
And my dad bought this. It used to be an old schoolhouse, and there was a little girl lived in my bedroom, and I'd go to school and I'd wave hi to the little girl in my bedroom, and my friends would see her. Everybody would see her, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was some little girl living in my house.
So you were seeing this child spirit. When did you
Yeah.
figure out she wasn't mortal?
She just never, she was never more than a little girl. She was never mean. There was never any,
Okay.
it was a little girl. I felt like in my core that what I was interacting with was solely a pure
Okay.
little girl.
But you and your friends were seeing her.
Yes.
And did she interact with you or just kind of stand off and watch?
It was more standoff. Like
Okay.
you would see her in the wind, but she would, I guess, interact too, because she would wave.
Okay.
She would wave back to us. My dad saw her. It was just something that was there. It never scared me. It never, nothing.
I have several friends that I ghost hunted with who have that ability. That is something I've never wanted to have.
Yeah.
They see the people. It's got to be frightening when you just see this
Sometimes.
person out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, especially when you see one that's been through a trauma and like
Mhm.
you see them in their trauma.
Feel it.
Yeah, and that's the problem with us is we see it and we feel it. So
Oh,
we can,
okay.
yeah. So it takes on a whole new meaning to us
Mhm.
interacting with these spirits.
One psychic I knew went into a Walmart in a town he was not familiar with. There was a tall man in overalls in an aisle, dripping with water, who looked up, seen him, and started chasing him through the store until he had to leave,
Wow.
yelling at him to get out.
Yeah.
And have you had something like that? Because that, to me, if I had that ability, that would just, I don't know how.
I have not to that degree.
I mean, I kind of have when I went up to so when we used to work together.
Okay.
And I was seeing this stuff on TikTok and I can't even remember what it was about, but I go upstairs into our upper warehouse to tell my mom what I had just heard about this. And I'm trying to say it and it like I can't. And I look to my right and I just get bum rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I had to get out of there. I had an instant panic attack. I couldn't breathe. My skin went white. I went cold. So it's definitely scary when stuff like that happens.
So it wasn't a physical push, but it was overwhelming emotional attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just like a cold gust just came at me and I just couldn't get away from it until I got out of the building.
Well, I don't think I could handle that, and I'm glad that you folks can. Maybe it's because he's been doing it his whole life, and I'm sure you all have too.
Oh yeah, it's most of the time it's definitely something that you come into this world with,
Mm-hmm.
and you're either afraid of it when you're a child and you shut it down, or you're like us and we're just like, hey, how you doing? How's your mom and them? Come talk to us.
Well, unfortunately, his family put him in a asylum as a child.
Oh no!
Because of the imaginary friends and the imaginary people he was scared of. And his sister, he just found out, and Tim is 62, 63 now, just recently found out his sister has the same abilities. She just wouldn't tell anyone because she didn't want to be shipped off.
Yeah.
So, that's almost equally terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't tell your parents because you're afraid you'll be labeled as crazy, but you're seeing this
and you got to deal with it on your own. Yeah.
Did you have someone you could share this with?
Very much so.
Yeah, our whole family. Her mother was a psychic medium, and she guided us through a lot of things. My mother, like, it's almost like all the females in our family just sort of have this.
Yeah, it's very generational.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about some of the adventures you had as children. Becky, I'd like to hear some of your stories when you were younger.
The very first time I can actually remember a paranormal experience is kind of splotchy, honestly, because I was so young. I know I had to have been maybe 4 or 5. So, I'm 42 now, so some things doesn't, quite keep up with age. But
I get you.
I can remember, like, she mentioned my mom was practicing medium, and my mom and my dad were very active in a church that was a Christian spiritualist church where they participated in psychic teas, and just people of the community could come and get readings, and they would help everybody. And so I was running around there as a child and soaking it all up, quite literally, obviously. I remember I always used to have all kinds of stuffed animals around my bed, and there was one night they just started falling face down, and then my bed was shaking really bad, and I got lifted up above my bed. And I remember my mom and dad coming in, and both of them being around my bed, and I'm not sure of what they did. I'm sure it was some kind of ritual, but like I said, I was 4 or 5, and it's sketchy. But they eventually got it calmed down, and it went away. But the part of the bed shaking and the levitating, that is seared. That feeling will never go away. And I remember I never screamed. They heard the bed shaking is why they came in. But I felt like I was okay. I was looking down on what was happening and just feeling like it's fine. But I wasn't physically shaking. It was just the bed underneath me.
Okay. The Spiritualist Church, is that a Christian church that embraces this kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. I've never been to one. I've heard the term, but I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah. During every service, actually, they would offer, like, they would have one of their congregation that did have the ability to come up on the podium, and they would meditate for a little while. And when they had something come to them, they would say it, and whoever it resonated with, that person would, acknowledge that, and they would go from there. That was a normal part of a closing service.
Okay. And when you felt yourself being lifted, was that what's the out of body type thing, or was your body being lifted up?
But both.
Okay.
I was looking down and seeing it happen, but also my body was up off of the bed.
Oh, that had to be scary.
Yeah, it wasn't though. That's the crazy thing. It just, I felt okay with it. Like this was just like it had happened before, but I didn't realize it. Maybe I don't know. It felt comfortable.
Okay.
And after that is when I started getting more experiences. I would be talking to somebody, and clairaudience is probably a more accurate way to describe what I get. They'll talk to me all the time, and that's when that started happening as a very young child. So it's been interesting.
Are you talking about spirits will come and talk to you?
Yes.
You see them, you see their lips moving.
Sometimes, other times it's just a hey to get an attention, and then maybe a minute or two later there'll be something else. It's usually not sentences. It's usually just 1 or 2 words to get their point across. It takes a lot of energy from them to do that.
Yeah.
So tends to not happen in length or full sentences. But
so what in 2020 made you two decide to come together to do this?
We just wanted to do it. We're like, listen, we're tired of watching this stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be the idiots that go into the houses, talk smack to the ghosts, and we're going to get some evidence, and we're going to post it, and we're just going to, it's a hobby really, but we just wanted to do it.
Okay. Was there anything that triggered one of you saying, there's people out there that need help, and we can do that?
Just people talking to us. I guess because we are so open about talking to it, a lot of others hear us, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this is what's going on." Yeah, and it just kind of organically.
Yeah, and then we're like, why don't we just help people? Like,
also, I'll give a plug to the Foreman brothers.
Oh yeah,
on YouTube, they're amazing, and watching their videos really kickstarted the idea of giving that a go.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know them. So can you give me a little idea of who you're talking to with the Foreman brothers?
Well, the name of the YouTube channel just totally blanked out of my head,
Okay.
of course, as it will. Paranormal Nightmare
Okay. All
is
right.
who they are on YouTube. And they're from Ohio. Yeah, they're from Ohio too. And they're a lot like us, where their main focus is helping families
Mhm.
and just trying to do something good with what we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, they were, I think, my biggest push. Anyway, I can't.
Yeah, and then she asked me, and I was like, "Sure, why not?"
So
Let's
you
do
watched them, and then did they come in and say, "Hey, come with us. We'll show you a few things"? Or-
Not
But we
yet.
haven't had anybody
No,
Oh, okay.
for that.
no, not yet.
We just sort of,
We're winging it.
yeah, we just go by ourselves.
Oh, that's how I started.
Yeah,
Sometimes we just like take a ride and pull over on the side of the road. If one of us gets a feeling,
yeah.
Mhm.
we'll stop. And there was one time we went out. She took me to this. I really don't ever want to go back there unless it's complete daylight and I can see what's going on around me. There was just such an eerie feeling that overpowered the
Yes,
what do you
the
call it? The tree trestle.
Yeah, the trestle
Oh, okay.
outside of Quincy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like, "Girl,
was-
you got to come here." So I took her there, and she said, "Never again, unless it's broad daylight."
No,
Okay, what do you feel like was going on around you there?
complete and total just dread and negative, bad.
Yeah, there was a lot of confirmed deaths around that area of that train trestle there. So it's just, you just go there.
Self-inflicted in a way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she just
Okay.
doesn't like that.
That bothers me.
So have you went to well-known haunted places to just hone your skills and see what happens?
Locally, yes.
Yeah.
Places
Okay.
that we know of that have a story to tell. We have went there, but really, since we just formed in 2020, and you know how crazy
Was with
that
COVID.
next year
Oh,
and two
yeah.
was.
Uh-huh.
And then she mentioned we worked together. That place closed down, so we've both been like in the middle of trying to find new careers, and
Sure.
so we haven't had a whole lot of time
Well,
set aside. But
a few lined up that we're going to
Yes.
start getting into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Ohio in Painesville was the Writer's Inn. It's a bed and breakfast. When I was there, something didn't just push my camera case off. It sailed across the room from the dresser to there. A spirit followed me and my wife home and was around my house in in Missouri. A couple days. I never saw it. My wife was having these really intense dreams about this cowboy in a duster and a hat just staring at her.
Yep.
But the ghost that actually lived in the house ran it all off because we heard the fight one day. Yeah, we were literally sitting in the living room and we heard what I thought was two raccoons had gotten in upstairs and was fighting.
It was your ghosts fighting.
And yeah, I mean, it sounded like things were being thrown around, shoved. And I told her, I'll go up tomorrow, I'll pick up whichever one loses and throw it away. I go upstairs, nothing is wrong, but she never seen that one again.
Nice.
So, you may want to check out, there's a lady spirit there who was the owner. And not very long ago, she had passed away just a couple of years before I was there in about 2002 or so. And actually it would have been about 2008. But she was there and I was a police officer and she kept trying to get my attention. Now, I'm not psychic at all. That's what somebody else was telling me. Because apparently someone had stolen money from them who worked for them. And she was wanting me to go do my job.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess a lot of neat stories. That's one. And I was actually up there because I was at the Ohio State Reformatory.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was lecturing there when I stayed in this B&B.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lighthouse in Fairpoint that I was in with a ghost cat.
Aw.
So you got a lot of neat places up there to check
Oh,
out.
yeah, you do.
Yes. Yes.
So give us one of your stories.
Well, I can go with just a couple here recently.
Sure.
Here at my home. My boyfriend and I, been hearing some things over in the corner, which is a new area. This place is constantly having activity going on, but this was new, and kind of got our attention, but it never really amounted to much. It was just some things jostling around, few taps. That was about it. And then the next day or two, my youngest kid came over. They're 19, and they too have sharing our gifts as well. And they were sitting over across from me, and we both heard it at the same time, looked over and then looked at each other, and they're like, "So you heard that too, huh?" Yep, definitely something over there. So then fast forward another night or two, and my boyfriend and I are sitting on the couch, and there was a fly swatter sitting on a little cart, and it was right in the middle of it, and we heard it move. So we both had time to look over there, and when we looked over there, it flipped off of the top of the cart and landed on the other side of something else that's sitting over there. So it had to kind of go like out and around a little bit to happen. And it's like, okay, that's new. How you doing? and just 2 days ago, I had just put a shelf up back here where the flowers are drying, and it's the kind that has the 2 screws, and then you put it through the bigger spot, and it slides so it locks in.
Yeah.
And our alarms went off that morning for work, and as soon as the alarm went off, we heard a crash. And I kind of chalked it up. We have a cat, and sometimes she knocks stuff off, so it really I didn't think anything of it. Well, when I got up and came out here, I realized that one side of that was hanging down and everything on it was on the floor.
And that had to be picked up and lifted before it could do that.
Picked up, lifted. Yeah. Pulled out. Yep. Nothing was broken. I think they were just upsetting spaghetti or something. Yeah. But
so you're living in a house with spirits. Have you identified them or chatted with them?
There has been a couple that have been identified. This place used to be the old Pioneer Inn in the 1800s. And most, other than having drywall put up, everything original is still under the drywall.
Okay.
The floors are original 1800s floors.
Wow.
And there's a lot of transient action through here. There's constantly people in and out.
So now, are you saying humans or spiritual people coming
spiritually?
In? So you've got a portal somewhere?
I just think they're comfortable, and I think it's residual for the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
Where they were constantly, like I said, it was an inn first, and then it became a diner.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been reports of dishes falling and breaking, glass shattering. There was somebody. This whole front area here used to be nothing but windows, and somebody came through and smashed those all out. And people have heard that happen a lot. So it's some of that. And then, like I said, there was always people in and out when it was the business. So I think that's the residual stuff. They don't really communicate as such, as you just see them kind of going through. And that's one of the times where I do see things like they'll just be passing through.
Yeah.
So you're sitting here watching, I don't know, the X-Files or whatever, and some men walk through the room in front of you.
Pretty much.
And
they're usually not defined so much as just shadow. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Does your boyfriend see them, or is this just you?
He has. He's a skeptic believer. He kind of, because he's had his own experiences, but I think it scares him still quite a bit. So he doesn't want to let that in. But he's seen, there's 2 little girls here all the time. And they are more than welcome to stay for as long as they want to. They're great. They play jokes. They hide stuff on us. They like to hide my glasses specifically. And they're cool. They can stay, like I said, for as long as they want to. There's something that, which I mentioned that I was practicing. We are very firm in our protections, that we have things that we follow. And I have a very strong protection here. Anything that is positive, wants to interact in a positive manner is welcome. Anything negative is not allowed and will not be allowed and will not be tolerated. They won't tolerate it. I won't tolerate it.
Well, we will have to talk about that. I have to slide away for just a moment.
Okay.
I want to talk more about the negative things. I'm sure you've experienced some.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to chat more about that too, and how people can protect themselves.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
right now, I got to show people what else they need. So I'll be right back. All right, friends, a new team, 2020, and of course, COVID probably kept them in just like it did me. So a new team coming in, and they are lifelong empaths, lifelong experiencers. And again, I don't know how people like them do it. My friend Tim, all of these folks who can see this stuff. To me, I would just be almost constantly startled by something. But hey, I do want you to see this because it's a little bit more, well, let's say a little bit less scary.
This is Margie Kay, and I'd like to say thank you to all of our KUNX show hosts, staff, listeners, and viewers for making us number one on Paranormal Talk Radio.
This September 6th through the 13th, join with like-minded souls in the experience of a lifetime on the Royal Caribbean Ovation of the Seas as we travel from Seattle to Alaska. Internationally renowned researchers, investigators, experiencers, authors, holistic healers, contactees, spiritual luminaries will sail on an extraordinary voyage of transformation. This cruise will explore UFOs, alien contact, cover-ups, ancient mysteries, the paranormal, holistic healing, and spirituality. Experience engaging lectures, one-on-one sessions, private, custom-tailored excursions, and a nightly UFO watch. The cruise is booking up fast. Go to contactatsea.com and be sure to mention the UNX Network when you book. That's contactatsea.com or phone 336-749-1219. That's 336-749-1219.
All right, friends. You know, there's so much going on. The X-Con's coming up, and I want to try to get you all to come in because there's going to be so much go on. And I've told the story, but I'm going to tell you again. Last year, we had the X-Con at this hotel in Springfield, Missouri, and I was sitting in the back, people sitting in front of me in rows, and of course, the stage with the speakers. And next to me was Michelle Roos, who's a ghost hunter out of Iowa. And suddenly these shadow people just drift right across between us and the audience. And I was stunned. People were coming to us saying, what was that? They were seeing them crossing the stage while people were talking. We go to the staff and find out, yeah, we thought that's why you were here. This place is very haunted. So at the X-Con, which is coming up on October 11th through the 13th in Springfield, Missouri, aside from my normal lectures on ghosts and ghost hunting, I'm going to be doing one on use of dowsing rods in an investigation. Then we're going to try and make contact with the spirits. And if you're part of that, you want to come in, take the workshop. It's part of the thing. And bring your dowsing rods, or you can purchase them there if you want. You come in, try to make contact with the spirits with me and Michelle. I think Michelle's going to take a group and I'm going to take a group. It's going to be a lot of fun on top of all the cryptids and everything else we're going to be talking about. And of course, I'll talk more about the UNX Network and X-Con, but I want to get back to my friends Becky and Tianna because we're about to get into something a little darker when it comes to the ghost hunting world. So we were chatting about some of the darkness, some of the negative you've dealt with. Tianna, have you dealt with anything like that?
I mean, yeah, the thing at my shop, and I mean, I had a few things happen when I was pregnant with my middle child. Like, I don't know whether to attribute those to the pregnancy nightmares or whatever. But I always just made sure that, like, how I protect myself is pretty basic. I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you at all. And I get my crystals and I say some things and I tell them to go. And that's what I do. I don't ever have a welcome mat on my door. Like,
Flip around backwards.
yeah, I see you're flipped around backwards. But yeah, that's how I keep them away, is crystals, and I burn sage a lot, and I clean with sage,
Mhm.
and pretty much a lot of witchy poo rituals.
Well, if I can ask, what happened when you were pregnant with your child that was worrying you?
I mean, it didn't worry me because I know that, like, if you see something, your best thing to do, especially if it's something scary, your best thing to do is just act like you did not see what you just saw.
Yes.
Just, nope, you're not there.
Mhm.
Nope. So I woke up, I was 6-7 months pregnant, and my husband at the time worked second shift. So I was asleep by myself, and my oldest daughter was at her dad's actually this weekend, and I felt something staring at me, and I woke up and I saw something crouched on the edge of my bed, and it had like the biggest, like, Cheshire cat grin,
Wow.
and like these black, I don't even, like, they weren't razor teeth, but they weren't regular teeth,
Mhm.
and just black eyes and this white hair, and it was just crouched right on the foot of my bed. And I just turned over and put the blanket on and grabbed my crystals out from underneath my pillow and rubbed them. And I kid you not, I felt it get off the bed.
Okay.
But I don't know whether, because sometimes your brain messes with you when you're pregnant. You never know.
What do you think it was? Demonic? Elemental?
I don't feel it was demonic. I feel it was uh just an entity that loves to scare people.
Okay.
It just randomly, it likes the what's the
Get
word?
the energy off the person being scared.
Yeah, and it likes the jump scare.
Okay.
That's what I got. I didn't get that it was yeah, ornery, that's the word.
Okay. So, human just trying to scare you, or an elemental that was.
Maybe a little, it had human like vibes, but it was almost like it was, yeah, like, I mean, I don't like to say fairies or anything like that, but like it was like,
Okay.
yeah, an elemental.
All right. All right. And Becky, what do you have for it?
There's always something trying to get in. When
Oh.
you're stressed out, and in our case, when we're stressed out and feeling low, and there's always a bigger chance of something trying to,
Watching.
yeah. And we had something here a few weeks ago that was pacing on the porch out here and caused me to have really, really bad night terrors. And they were getting to the point where I didn't want to sleep. I'd go back and lay down and get back up and come out here and watch the TV. And I was getting maybe 1 to 2 hours of sleep a night because I just didn't want to dream. And it took a little bit because it happened so fast. I never saw anything. Sometimes I would hear a heavy breathing and like a breathy name. They would call my name and just really breathy. But it would never got close enough to being in the house. But I didn't want it to either, because if that's how it's affecting me outside, you can just go on.
Imagine, yeah.
But it took me a little bit to get up my strength to be able to get it to go away, because it was very strong. And that was the first time I'd ever personally encountered that kind of entity, and I really cannot tell you what that was.
What's your gut feeling about it? Or again,
I
are we
don't feel
talking
human.
demonics?
I don't feel human, but I have a hard time saying demonic as well. I think that gets thrown around a little bit too much. And I think that I would, if something to that level would happen, I would really be thrown, I would know.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I would agree with you. People jump to that conclusion way too
Yeah.
often, but it
Yeah.
still exists.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what. Why
Yeah.
would it? But for some reason, it was staying outside.
Mhm. Yes. As I mentioned earlier, I have quite strong protections.
Okay.
And outside the front door, I don't feel is my personal domain. I feel like they can have free roam as long as they don't invade my space
Okay.
in here. You know, um, it takes a lot of energy
Mhm.
too,
Mm-hmm.
as far as that goes.
Okay. Without using names, can you tell me one of the families, one of the adventures you had trying to help a family out?
The latest one was
Mhm.
Springfield,
Yeah.
and
A friend of the family.
yeah, yeah. Her daughter had been having experiences, and at first it was okay. It kind of, and this friend has been a friend for 30 some years now. So, they've been around and know this is what we do and stuff. So they kind of had an idea, when their daughter started having these experiences that that's what it was. But like I said, at the time, it was kind of playful and almost like a spirit guide type of thing. But then it very quickly became something else and was really bothering the child.
Mhm.
And so they would hear it too. It would wake them up walking. They have a 2-story, and it would walk right on top of their bedroom and just pace all night and bang on the wall. And they lived in a condo, which did butt up against another condo, but the wall in between is one of the firewalls, like they're concrete. You can't hear somebody banging. If it wouldn't have been a neighbor, but it was very clear, and we do have some evidence of that. But we were able to, gosh, we were there for what, 3 hours, something like
hours,
that,
yeah.
and got
And it was
quite
immediate.
a bit
From the time we got in the door, and you could hear from the top loft stuff just being thrown, the wall getting hit,
They
and
were
we're like,
happy.
"Oh, game time! We've come to play, guys."
But by the end of the night, they got really quiet and started kind of dissipating. And we did a cleansing ritual that we do, and we talk to this person
All the time.
daily.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And there's been no more reports of any further activity. So
Okay. What do you think it was?
it was just spirits. But I think it was another child, one of them,
Okay.
that is, they kept coming back to the girl, and they
Mhm.
weren't referring to
The daughter.
the daughter.
They were referring to
Yeah, they
one of the
kept giving
spirits.
another name. And I think she just didn't want to believe that she was passed on.
Yeah.
And she
Okay.
wanted to play. And sometimes got very frustrated when Audrey, say names, when she would get scared and not want to play.
Yeah.
And that just
Okay.
kind of escalated it.
She used to get mad and throw a tantrum, essentially, is what she was doing.
That's, and I don't want to say comforting, but it actually is. They're still children.
Mhm.
Why are children's spirits not able to move on? It seems like they would be unafraid.
I think it's because they don't have the ability to recognize that they're gone. Like
Okay.
I feel like it's just they just got here and then they're gone, and so their residual energy just can't process it.
Do you think their family comes back to try and get them? I dealt with a little girl spirit over in Illinois once, but we know her mother was coming back. She just plain didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
She honestly died during her birthday party, and to her, the party was still going on.
Aww.
And we know her mom would come and visit her on from time to time to check on her and then leave. But is that what's going on? They just don't want to leave, or they don't understand?
Well, I don't know, because they were brand new condos that were built.
Yeah.
We have no idea what was there beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that maybe before whatever was there that was torn down, maybe the mom or some family member kept coming and visiting them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we don't know where she came from.
I think it's
Okay.
subject to opinion a lot on that too.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it could go either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good story. What else have you managed to help people with? Because that's the important part of this. If you can't
It
help
is.
others, you're just looking for a TV show.
Right. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
care for you.
We have an upcoming investigation two actually,
Okay.
that is focused on helping the families, and actually have an interview kicking it off with the homeowner here in just either tomorrow or the next day. Very excited about that. There's been a lot of sightings from multiple people, and we have some new equipment that I cannot wait to try out.
What equipment have you got now?
More cameras. We've got
Okay.
2 new camcorders, and let's see what the I'm not good at remembering the names of the stuff. It's the box that goes off when they get close to it.
Okay, sure. REM pod.
Yes, the REM pod. Yes, we have 2 of those. We use the EMF detector and our handy dandy H1N voice recorder.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest helps
Mm-hmm.
that there can be. It's a little bit controversial to use apps.
It is, but I have used them and found them to be right on. I just don't know how else to say it. They're saying the right words.
Yes,
Well,
we have a device.
When my name was said, so at that investigation we were just talking about, my name is not a common name.
Right.
And when you hear it coming through your recorder saying, Tianna, Tianna. And I'm like, all right, that works. That app is legitimate.
And it's on a device that it doesn't have service. It's in airplane mode. There's no Wi-Fi. We've taken every precaution that we can to debunk.
Yep.
Can I ask what app that was?
Necrophonic.
I've been hearing so much about that. I've used M2 Ghost Hunter. That got great results with that. The original Ghost Radar, I got great results with that. I've got a couple that weren't very good. But I've heard so much of that. How well is it working for you?
Very well.
Yeah.
I think,
really?
one of the times we were just out riding around, just, kind of playing with it. We stopped off, we pulled off on this road, and we both seen somebody in the mirrors walking up a hooded, and it was very physical. Like we thought that was a person.
Oh, it was right outside of Bell Fountain.
Yeah. And the window was down, and she's trying to get the window up. And when we looked back, he wasn't there.
No.
We look in the mirror and he's there. Look back and he's not there. And then the necrophonic came up and told us what street we were on, what side of the town we were on, what had just happened. And we got out of there pretty quick. Yeah, it was a little creepy because that was actually our first time using that app.
Yeah, we were just testing it out.
Okay. Does that talk in sentences rather than the single words like I usually get?
It depends.
Yeah.
I've heard that it could.
And they have
do that.
different settings on there. We just generally do the original
text
thing.
Okay.
Because there's like an echo, a reverb. You can have different effects, but we're not, like I said, no frills. We don't do all the.
I like that. Yeah. And what made you go with that? Obviously, you're not trying to get a TV show, or you'd be throwing
No, not at all.
in.
It's, I think, not making skeptics believers, but showing that you can get to the basics and still have results and still help people. Like this is real.
Yep.
And the more, BS you put behind it, the more people are going to doubt you. So we just want to be completely transparent. This is what it is. And
absolutely.
Well, my favorite tool that I use on every ghost hunt is dowsing rods, a K2 meter. They work in tandem, and then cameras. What's your favorite, Tianna? What's your favorite equipment to use?
I like the dowsing rods. We've used those before. Those are fun. The sensation that you get through those is just the weirdest thing.
Have you ever had that spirit so strong it's electricity coming through those rods?
Yes.
Charge? Yeah.
Yes. It's like touching a 9-volt battery sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're fun.
That's my favorite. And Becky, which one do you prefer?
I think getting the EVPs on the voice recorder,
Mhm.
just because it's their voice.
Yeah.
It's very personal.
Yeah.
Let me throw this one out at you. I have discovered over the years, and you can tell me I'm wrong if you'd like, everyone seems to have their own personal talent. One lady that worked with me for a while, she would get something on the camera every time we went out. I would get nothing.
Mhm.
I'd get results with the dowsing rods. This person over here can't get anything, but they got EVPs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that something psychic, something in each person, or is that just the way?
We
I don't
pass
know.
them around
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's the same thing. If one's not getting something using one of the things, then
Mhm.
we kind of pass it off. And,
Yeah. And just start new things.
But why would it work that way? Why can I be holding a recorder? He's holding a recorder, and yet I'm the only one that gets the EVP.
Because the spirit wanted to talk to you.
Well,
they can be
that makes
finicky.
sense.
Like they, like I feel that like they are energy, so they feel our energy, and if your energy is not right, you're not going to get the stuff that you're looking for because they're not going to play with you.
There was a
Okay.
time we visited my brother's house, and a place where we both had experiences, very strong ones.
Mhm.
And my sister came with us, and they did not like her being there.
Mhm.
And they told her to go away, to back off. They
Mhm.
weren't talking to her, and they shut us down.
Yeah.
After a while, they were just like, no.
Because she wouldn't leave.
Okay. Another thing that used to come up, and again, others sensitives have told me, somehow the ghost knew I was an authority figure. I was a law enforcement, and they would either there was one place, the Fox Theater in St. Louis. I couldn't leave that room because the spirit wanted to confess.
Yep.
And yet other times they won't get anywhere near me because they're afraid to get too close.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can they see that? I'm wearing a t-shirt with a bar on it.
They're supernatural.
It's your energy. It's the vibe you're giving them.
They read
Was
you
it-
long before you read them.
Yeah.
Well, I could understand that, but is it something in the aura? Are they reading my mind? Are they getting into my?
I feel like it has to be almost like an aura energy
Okay.
thing.
And
Like,
two, if you're having a conversation with yourself in your mind,
yeah.
they hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
To me,
I've
that's
told
my
people-
opinion. You know,
Oh, when I've given people the rods, I've told them, think the question, don't
Mhm.
ask. If you don't want us to know, they'll understand. And I had one, it was in Kansas, a biker, huge, big, muscular guy with tats all over. He was standing there telling me it was wrong. He had come there, it turns out, to reach someone. And I gave him the rods after he asked for them. And within 10 minutes, he's laying on the floor in a fetal position crying because he made contact with a friend who had committed suicide, and his friend was with his father on the other side. And he just broke down.
Yeah. That's
Apologized
the
very
stuff we want to
nicely.
get into.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
yeah. And that's another reason why we accept people coming along if
Mhm.
the location allows for it.
When
Just
I was
because-
go ahead.
I was going to say, just because other people, we want them to explore what they have too and what they can do.
When I was in Missouri last, which was in 2021, I was noticing over the last maybe 8 years, spirits were coming. It's like they knew their family would be here, and that would be an opportunity to communicate.
Mhm.
And I had one guy on a ghost hunt, a charity ghost hunt in an old brewery. A man that he had found lying dead on the road, and he stopped, called the police, and stayed with the body till the police got there, was with him to thank him for that. That's all he wanted, was to thank him, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
So somehow these spirits also know the future, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like they can.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they, it's not linear like it is
Oh, yeah.
for us. Completely different.
Okay.
And I have a hard time even trying to explain it because I don't think I fully understand it.
Right.
Mhm. No, all I have is theories, but
Yeah.
essentially all we could go on is how we
Yes.
feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like paranormal investigating and interacting with spirits is a full body thing. They're in your mind, they can see in your soul, they feel your energy, they feed off your energy. It's a whole body experience.
Okay. Well, you two are a couple I could sit over a cold beer and a pizza and just talk all night about this stuff. But I'm afraid we're going to have to move on. Now, you've got a couple of big investigations coming up.
Yes.
You said you're planning some in some bigger areas to kind of hone the skills and places really well known.
Yes.
If you get some really good evidence and you're ready to come back, and if you get that evidence together that you said from the condo, I'd like to get you back on and see some of this stuff and see you all in action.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, keep in touch with me. All right.
We will,
definitely.
Over
Thank you for the
Facebook or
opportunity,
email.
Dan.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. It's been so much fun to be able to sit and talk with y'all.
It has.
All right. Well, you all have a good night, and I'll be in touch.
Great.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Yes, the folks like that I could just sit and chat with all night, and it's so much fun to talk to people and get different theories, different ideas, but people who's been through the same kind of stuff that I've done over the years. And that's, I don't know, it's rare. It's something that's a lot of fun. And also I want to talk to you all about some other things real quick, like joining the UNX Network. My friends, the UNX Network is free to join. We do have some paid sections that you can do, but overall it's free. You get on to unxnetwork.com, drop down a little bit on the opening screen. There's a paper thing you fill out with your email address. And what do you think you get for that? Well, first off, you get a blog. And I got to tell you guys, the blog has been crazy. I mean, this week we had apparently saw a Mothman sighted in Missouri over the Mississippi River. And that came out a year or so ago. We had a Mothman trying to get into a hotel room in Las Vegas. And again, blog came out. Square UFOs, the sighting of Nessie at Loch Ness, just anything that comes up. There's a blog comes out and it goes out to you. That's one way of keeping up, and that's free. Then you also get the newsletter, which comes out, I believe, monthly. And it's also the same thing. Got some theories, some ideas, some little stories, things that's been going on. And the big one, the one I like to talk about, is the magazine, which also comes to your house by way of email. So you don't have a lot of old magazines laying around. You can look at it on the computer monthly. And these are some really top-notch writers, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, black magic, whatever you're into, alien abductions, conspiracies. I had an article recently on the conspiracies of giants, the government and other people trying to keep the story of giants down where we can't get it. I got a lot of evidence there. This particular magazine on the left, the darker one, I had an article on the haunted battleship North Carolina and an article on legends from Halloween. So there was plenty to look at there. And then if you're a member, of course, you also get a shot at getting a cheaper ticket to the XCon 2024 in Springfield, Missouri. And again, we've got some really huge people coming to speak there. Grant Cameron, I think, is going to be there. Margie Kay is going to be there. I'll be speaking. Michelle Roos will be speaking. Tyler Koala will be there to discuss the secret space force. All kinds of stuff going on here. And a ghost hunt right there in the hotel with me and Michelle and probably Margie. So a lot going on if you're a member of the UNX Network. Why don't you join? It's free. So come on over, join up with us. Join the rest of the weirdos who believe in this stuff, all right? Because we have a great time, especially when we get together with good folks like the Spectral Sisters. And I guess that's it for me for tonight. I want you all to remember to stay cool. It's still warm out there. And I think the most important thing I can ask of you is stay spooked. Good night.